kids. It's Fire B, and I've got a special story to read to you today. This is the book that I used to read to my kids when they were young, and it's a bit of a favourite, but I have to warn you, it's a bit naughty. I really don't think your parents should see this one. You just tell them to go out and play outside. It's all about pooz. The story of the little mole who knew it was none of his business. And it's by Werner Holsworth and Wolf Earlbruch. The story of the little mole who knew it was none of his business. Now, moles are creatures that live underground. You need to know that because we don't have moles in New Zealand. So you need to imagine a little creature that lives underground. One day, the little mole poked his head out from underground to see whether the sun had already risen. Then it happened. It looked like a little sausage, and the worst thing was it landed right on his head. Ooh. "How mean!" cried the little mole. "Who has done this on my head?" But he was so short-sighted that he couldn't see anyone around. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the dove who was flying past. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," she answered, and splish splish, a moist white blob landed on the ground right next to the little mole. His right leg was splashed with white. Can you see where it splashed? Yuck. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the horse who was grazing in the pasture. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this." And flump plump, 5 big fat horsey apples plopped down within a hair's breadth of the mole. He was very impressed. Crikey, they look like cannonballs. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the hare. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," answered the hare, and rat-a-tat-tat, 15 little round beans shot past the mole's ears. He saved himself with a daring leap. Crikey. Brrr. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the goat, who had been dreaming a little. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," she replied. And plippity-plop, a pile of toffee-coloured little balls tumbled on the grass. The little mole found them almost appealing. "Yeah, not to me so much." "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the cow who was chewing the cud. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this." And ker-splosh, a big brownish green pancake flopped onto the grass just next to the mole. He was very relieved that it hadn't been the cow who had done something on his head. "Did you do this on my head?" he asked the pig. Don't know why he's putting his finger in the pig's nose. "Me? No, how could I? I do it like this," replied the pig. And plop, splat, a little soft brown pile fell onto the grass. The mole held his nose. Pee-you. "Did you do this on my..." He was going to ask again, but as he came closer, he saw only 2 big, fat, black flies, and they were eating. Ugh. "At last, someone who will be able to help me," thought the mole. "Who did this on my head?" he asked excitedly. "Keep nice and still," buzzed the flies. There was a short pause, and then,
It is clear to us that it was a dog.
Finally, the little mole knew who had done the business on his head. Look at the look of determination on his face. He's off.
Basil, the butcher's dog.
Dun, dun, dun. Quick as a flash, he climbed onto Basil's kennel and pling, a tiny black sausage landed right on top of the dog's head. Can you see it? That's called Mole's revenge. Satisfied at last, the little mole disappeared happily into his hole under the ground. The end.